You're listening to Three Kitchens Podcast, a member of the Alberta Podcast Network. Locally grown, community supported. Now it's time to find out what's cooking today. In Alberta, you get to choose who to buy your internet, electricity, and natural gas from. Park Power has low overhead, which in turn allows them to offer low competitive rates.
Reach out for a no-obligation comparison by emailing estimates at parkpower.ca. If you decide to switch, it's easy.
It's really just a change to your billing, and you can feel good knowing you are helping to give back to our communities with your utility bills. Learn more at parkpower.ca. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Three Kitchens Podcast. Today I am your host Erin, and I am joined by my co-host Heather Dyer and a special friend and guest who is also Erin. Our friend Erin Patching is joining us today.
Hello.
Now I'm like, okay, who should I, like, is it going to get confusing if I'm calling you by your first names? We're just going to count on the listener to sort
we could go
out
by last names maybe. Or because Erin Walker is normally Erin, I could just go by Patching for today's episode if that was going to be easier.
Or as I like to joke with your husband, your other Erin, and he goes, no, your other Erin.
That's right. Yeah, no, I don't like other Erin.
No.
Well, thank you for coming along and guest hosting with us. This is fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to join.
If at any point you want to say, edit that out, you are able to make the request. It may or may not happen.
That's true. If I think it has...
She surprises us, because sometimes I do that and it still stays in.
Interesting.
I wanted to tell you guys about something that I read as I was cruising around on foodandwine.com.
Ooh.
As you do. So have you seen those ads for, like, you can get a scented candle with your brand? So you can just say what scent you want, and then it would be labeled with like your logo or whatever. You ever seen these?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Is it just like a marketing thing? Like you get
it's like, you know, what do you call it? Like, it's stuff you give away. It's
right.
like, or you could sell it. Maybe it's merchandise. I don't know.
There you go. Like instead of like pens and t-shirts, you could get scented candles made. Is that the gist of
exactly.
it? Okay.
But apparently there's some like big name brands that have candles, like IKEA has a meatball scented candle.
Oh.
No.
I don't know.
Mm-mm.
McDonald's there's a set of 6 candles, and when you burn them all at the same time, it smells like a quarter pounder.
Oh no. Oh.
Okay, but I want to know, like, what do the individuals smell like?
Hot lettuce, melted fake cheese.
Just horrible. My brother used to work at McDonald's when we were teenagers, and he came home smelling like McDonald's, and he smelled so bad. And then like his laundry would smell, and that's what I imagine those candles would smell like. It was not. It was. I remember the smell so distinctly. It was terrible. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I bet it is. Okay, and there's a couple other ones I wanted to tell you about. So, Miller Lite, the beer Miller Lite, has a candle that smells like a dive bar.
Please tell me the candle says it's Miller time on it.
Oh, I don't know. But who wants to smell a dive bar? Can't you just smell it from like the old days of going to like down on 11th Avenue and like the
people
gross...
can't afford
sticky
the in-person
tables.
Experience. And so when they're sitting drinking all by themselves, they've got to have that smell accompanying their evening.
Ugh. It's so gross. Okay, and then one last one. Okay, and the Super 8 motels have a series of candles that smell like road trip. So there's like apparently one that's supposed to smell like having your windows open, like your windows down on the open road. I don't know what that would even smell like. There's one that smells like gasoline. There's crisp, clean linen, I guess at the hotel. There's a hot shower. I have no idea what that would smell like either.
That would smell like the terrible soap That's what that shower would smell like. It would smell like the awful bars of soap that you're like, oh, damn, I have to use this bar of soap. And then you can't sleep at night because you smell that awful soap on your hand.
Yeah, it's
And
so
you're
bad.
itching because it dried you out.
It dried you out.
Ugh. The road trip snacks, beef jerky,
Oh.
a cherry slushy, breakfast, and coffee. Can you imagine a beef jerky candle? Ugh.
Beef jerky does not
Gross.
smell good. Like it might taste
No.
good, but the smell of it is like if you open that in a room and someone doesn't know what that
And, like,
that there's beef
Put your
jerky
nose in
open,
it.
that's a terrible smell.
That's also a terrible thing to eat on a road trip because it disturbs everybody else's smell zone.
Yeah.
You have to have more neutral smelling things on a road
Everybody
trip.
has to eat it.
Everybody has to eat it. Huh.
Ugh. I thought that was funny. Apparently, the Miller Lite, they also had an ice cream based on the dive bar as well, which was like, I read about it, was like beer, obviously. Beer, caramel to sort of remind you of that sticky floor that you talked about, Patching. A hint of tobacco smoke in there and peanut. Ugh. I was like, who wants to eat that? Gross. No. Erin's
I
making a
don't even know
face.
what to say.
She's trying to process.
I mean, it might taste good. Peanut and caramel and but tobacco. Did you say tobacco?
Tobacco
know.
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
No.
thanks.
No.
My husband kind of thinks that butterscotch ice cream has an ashtray-y kind of flavor profile to it. He's like, I don't like the taste
Really?
of butterscotch ice cream specifically because he feels like it's ashtray tasting.
Interesting.
Maybe it's like some weird childhood association.
Whoa.
Maybe.
Yeah. Some family member was always smoking
Smoking
Yeah.
and
serving
eating
up the ice cream.
butterscotch flavored things.
Oh, gross.
It's like grandma or somebody was like, have some ice cream while she's puffing away.
We were watching an older movie recently. We watched Die Hard for Christmas. And he arrives at the airport and he gets in the door from leaving the plane and he lights up a cigarette and starts smoking it. And my husband and I dove into a conversation about, remember when everyone could smoke everywhere? Remember there was like smoking in the cafeteria in the mall and at different restaurants, the smoking or non. Like
the smoking section, which was just right there.
2 feet away from the non-smoking section. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, exactly.
it made a big difference. It really did.
Thank goodness.
But we were marveling over the fact that it's been so long. Like now it seems so weird if someone were to be smoking inside a building.
Oh, you'd be horrified.
We both worked in grocery stores, Erin and I, and there used to be a room upstairs in the grocery store that you could go inside, you could smoke in it. It was the smoking room in the lunch table area. Did you have
Like
that,
for
Erin?
employees?
Yeah.
In the
there
employee
was
break room.
So I had this
World.
vision at first. I had this vision of it being just shoppers who needed a quick break. Oh, I'm not done my shopping, but I need a quick smoke.
All right. Well, that was a fun sidetrack there.
Okay, let's talk about something that's actually
Okay.
appetizing.
Okay, so this I hope will be something new, something I've really wanted to make since Heather made pakoras a little while back. Falafels. So
Yummy.
I did a little bit of researching around. I'm trying to find a falafel. I think this is a baked one, not a fried one.
Oh,
But it puts olive oil on the pan while you bake it and then dip it and make it. I haven't looked at this recipe for a little while, so I have to.
Okay.
I picked it out and I haven't looked again. But falafels are like little chickpea patties. So there was a lot of talk on this online when I was reading between different recipes about whether you soak dry chickpeas or you use already soaked canned chickpeas for this. And the overall census that I saw was that you should use dried chickpeas, rinse them, and then soak them up overnight in the fridge rather than the canned ones, or they'll be too soggy.
Oh, I could see that. The canned ones are pretty soft, right?
So I'm going to use a recipe from Cookie and Kate.
Oh, I like them.
They have some really good recipes. It's got the chickpeas, red onion, parsley, cilantro. I'll be omitting the cilantro.
Oh, come on, Erin.
Oh, good.
Are we 2 against 1 now? Are you the only cilantro-er, Heather?
I love cilantro.
Oh, damn it. I'm all alone again.
That's all right. We can like maybe sprinkle it on after or
Maybe I'll put some
something.
fresh cilantro. I don't know. I can barely even buy the stuff.
I had some tonight.
Don't worry about it. We're just teasing. It's fine.
Yeah, no, don't put cilantro.
All right. So onion, parsley, garlic, salt, pepper, cumin, and cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is all. So in a food processor, I'm just going to pulse all these guys together until it's smooth. All the ingredients that I listed above there until it's smooth. It recommends to take out about 2 tablespoons of the mixture at a time to put into little patties. And then for the cooking process, it says you pour a 1/4 cup of the oil into a rimmed baking sheet and turn it on the pan until it's lightly coated. So you get sort of like a little coating on the pan of oil. And then in an oven, you bake it for half the time on one side and then you flip it for half the time on the other. So it's kind of fried/baked at the same time, it sounds like. I might see about doing these in my barbecue because this sounds like a messy oven. And then once they're golden on both sides, they're done and they keep in your refrigerator for up to 4 days, it says, or you can freeze them for several months. I'm excited about this.
Nice.
So they're not shaped like a ball?
So these ones that I see,
Aren't they usually shaped like a ball?
I want to say like a flattened ping pong ball size. So
Okay.
instead of being perfectly round, they've been flattened a little bit.
Maybe because how they're being baked, it's just easier to get full coverage if it's a little flat. Because if it was a round ball, you wouldn't be able to get kind of the crispness on all sides, right?
It's like trying to make a
Yeah.
meatball,
Yeah.
but that's too
Yeah,
big.
having to roll them all over.
Yeah,
yeah.
It'd be harder. So,
So I'm going to try making these falafels. And I didn't realize this, but I poached from their website also another recipe that I've made before and I think will go really good with this. It is a crisp apple and kohlrabi salad. And so our listeners don't know, but Erin Patching grows the most fantastic kohlrabis in her garden in the summer. And next year I have to do them.
you do.
I'd never really eaten or had a kohlrabi before you showed up and gave me this massive
Yeah.
small pumpkin kind of cantaloupe sized kohlrabi. And I was like, what do I do with this?
Yeah. I brought them to work in the fall
Oh.
after I picked a whole bunch and to my coworkers. I just put them on everybody's desks. And everyone's like, oh, thanks. What is it?
What is it?
And they were all the purple ones too. And anyways, which doesn't, when you peel it, it's all the same. So the color doesn't matter.
Right, yeah.
But they're very easy to grow. And we've grown them now for the past few years. And often cruciferous, like there's like these little moths that like to eat them. And they totally eat the leaves, but the leaves are not you could eat the leaves, but
Right.
they have holes in them from the moths eating them. But nothing affects the bulb and it grows so easily. And it's so much fun. And then we still have some in like my cold room
Right.
from the summer. So they
Nice.
store for a very long time.
And so you said they're cruciferous. Does that mean that they're part of the broccoli family?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Okay.
And cabbage and all
Broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts.
that. Yeah. So
Cool.
they're
It reminds me a little bit of like a crispy, like the stem of a broccoli almost. It's similar, I would say, kind of similar to that. When I grew up, we used to just slice it, put salt on it, and just eat them just like that raw. It's just so crunchy and yummy.
Yeah, so this salad that I'm going to make uses the kohlrabi and you cut it into like julienne, like little matchsticks, and you do the same thing with an apple. And so they recommend a Honeycrisp apple, but I would say any like tart apple would be good. And then it recommends that you put tarragon, sunflower seeds, feta cheese, and then salt and lemon juice. So you know that I'm going to default and put the salted lemon juice into this. A little bit of olive oil and some black pepper. So I've modified this a little bit from what is on the Cookie and Kate website, but I didn't realize that both these recipes came from there until I looked at them both and I was like, oh, I took both of their recipes today. I think this is going to be a really tasty, light, fresh meal. And I think it will introduce everybody to kohlrabis, and then they can get their seeds and then they can grow them this summer, because I know I just got my seed catalog for the winter in the mail.
Oh,
I'm already starting to like plan garden-y stuff. So
I haven't got a seed catalog yet.
Oh, you didn't get your Vessie's seed catalog?
Oh, maybe I don't get Vessie's. I might only get West Coast. So
well,
West Coast has got a lot of varieties of kohlrabi.
Oh, cool.
But there's one that's a green one, and it says it's like the biggest one. It's called like Super Schmelz or something. It's all like German. I think kohlrabi's even German. And it's supposed to be like this size of your head, but the purple ones grow faster. So they don't grow as big, but they grow way faster. So they outgrew the green ones this year. So if you're picking out your seeds, I vote the purple. I don't remember what the purple ones are, but the other one, I just like the name of the Super Schmelz or something like that.
Bigger is not always better. Sometimes you want the fast growing one.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Heather's looking for a grower, not a shower.
That's right.
That's right. We're recording in the evening and I'm drinking wine, and it's just like a little different than the normal.
She's a little less filtered. And so I just put a little less filter on our episodes, and then I hear about it in some of the feedback that I get sometimes.
See, Erin, this is what we mean when I say I think she's going to edit, but then she doesn't, and she leaves it in. But you were the one who said the grower is
right.
Not me.
So join us in the second half, and we will have some falafels and salad.
Yay.
Can't wait.
Hello and welcome.
My name's Joshua.
And I'm Grayson.
And together we host Epic Podcast, Emergency Preparedness in Canada.
On the show, we explore disasters and their management from a uniquely Canadian perspective.
Whether it's our history,
most people in Halifax don't know what the cargo is, and then whammo, vessel explodes.
Our society.
So we can't really address disasters without looking at who has the decision-making power.
Or our hazards.
It's virtually impossible for us to provide any advance warning for a landspout tornado.
We've got something for everyone, because when it comes down to it, disasters are everyone's business.
Visit our website at epicpodcast.ca, follow us on Twitter at epic__podcast, or subscribe to the Emergency Preparedness in Canada podcast on your favorite app.
All this and more on the next episode of Epic Podcast. Current, relevant, Canadian.
Let's get down to business. Welcome back. We are here with our special guest, Erin Patching.
Hello.
And the usual Heather and Erin that you always get.
The usual crew.
So I made the falafels and the apple and kohlrabi salad, and I'm pretty happy with how these turned out, despite a few little issues along the way, but I'll get into what I did. So recipes were really fighting over whether you should be using canned chickpeas or soaking chickpeas. And I was in the mode of, I'm going to make falafels tomorrow. So I put them into a container with water in the fridge. And then tomorrow came and it went. And I was like, damn, do I have to throw out these chickpeas? Because they were kind of expensive. No. I'm going to do this tomorrow. They'll be fine. And then the next tomorrow came and went. And I was like, oh, damn. So I was like, no, for sure. I have to do this tomorrow. So after soaking for 2 nights, I think that these turned out just fine. So I drained them and then into a food processor, tossed some chopped red onion, chopped fresh parsley, garlic, salt, pepper, cumin, and cinnamon. And so I have a really tiny little food processor, and the amounts that they wrote on here did not fit in my tiny food processor. So I did it in 2 batches. So I just pretty much have the ingredients, zhuzhed it up in the food processor, dumped it in a bowl. It made like a nice paste, I guess. And then at that point, I started running out of time in my day. So I just popped it into the fridge before I baked them up, which didn't seem to cause any issues either. Really, this should have taken me like 15, 20 minutes to make, but I don't know. I was not in the zone that day. I tell ya. Anyway, so once I got this paste, I scooped it up with an ice cream scoop and just formed it into little patties. And then on a baking sheet, you put olive oil and coat it. So you kind of have to rock it around so that it coats everywhere. And then you place your patties on it, pop it in the oven, 15 minutes, and then turn them, and then another 15 minutes and they're done.
And do they kind of like fry? Like how much oil was on your pan?
So it was just really enough to coat the pan. It wasn't a lot. Maybe you'll see in the video that it was just kind of frying and bubbling around the edges.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say they were stuck to the bottom, but they took a little bit of force to get that spatula under there. But then once you did, they flipped really easily and there was no residue left behind or anything. So I think it worked perfectly, which I was really happy about, because I was a little bit nervous about putting this wet batter on the pan and being like, am I just going to be scraping these up and like fighting with them sticking? But nope, totally easy. And I thought they crisped up pretty good. And I don't think I have much to say about it. That was falafels. And then I felt like they needed a sauce. So I had some tzatziki sauce in my fridge. I did not make it. I was not pulling out all the stops. I wanted to make this easy.
She'd already taken like 3 days to get to it. So
I already took 3 days. Exactly.
Totally understandable.
It's not like a 2-minute whip up sort of a deal either. Takes a bit of work. So
yeah, I mean, it was really just the trying to predict what I'm going to do tomorrow and being really poor with my own personal time management at the time of year that we're in right now. So I would say these are easy to make if you do better time management. So Erin, these were gluten-free, egg-free.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what
they
you
were
thought.
delicious.
Yeah.
What I liked is when like you drop them off, and then when I had them, which wasn't till the next day, I just popped them in the oven for like just 5 minutes to reheat them.
Nice.
They were amazing. So I think it's like a great thing to have for leftovers. Or I bet you could even freeze them up, right? And then thaw them and pop them in the oven to heat them up, and they would be delicious.
And I like that fried chickpea texture.
I had them the same day because I was in the gym when you popped them by. And so I was starving when I came into the house and the kids said, Erin brought food. And I was like, yay, Erin brought food. And of course they were all over it. Like, what'd she bring? What'd she bring? And so I shared with them and they loved it too. We all were like, wow, these are amazing. Gobbled them right up.
Right.
I love that there was like really fresh flavors in there. Like it seemed like, I don't know how to describe it exactly, but like, I think sometimes you can get sort of like a falafel that tastes like it's a bit dry, maybe. This just felt fresh. Like there's like fresh, I can't remember even now what ingredients you said were in there, but like parsley or there's something green that was like really fresh tasting.
The red onion didn't get like cooked down. So it was like there were little bits of crunch in there and freshness.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
And you noted that there was cinnamon in there. And it's funny because I normally despise cinnamon in a savory food.
Oh, interesting.
Like cinnamon shows up in the weirdest places. And like in sweet things, I love cinnamon. But in savory things, like there's some, I don't know, like a lasagna that has like a cinnamon. I don't remember. It's just awful. So if I was following the recipe, I would have 100% have omitted that. But I'm glad you didn't, because it was really good. Because whatever the amount was, I barely noticed it. I noticed there was some different tastes. And then I was meaning to like look at the recipe to see what is that different, because cinnamon tastes really different in a savory dish than it does in a sweet dish, I think. But I liked it. So
I think the cinnamon goes good with the cumin. I think that's what makes it pass is that it goes well with the cumin, because they both have very like
similar
earthy sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be what it is.
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought they were perfect. Whatever the recipe is, everybody just make it according to the recipe because they were so tasty. And the kids even were like, "What is this? This is so good. I love
Yeah.
this."
Yeah, I shared with my son too.
Yeah, absolutely have tzatziki because that was like just perfect together.
Yeah, I think this would be really good because sometimes I know I've worked where they use falafel as a substitute if in a wrap where you would put chicken or beef. And so I think if you were to put this in like a lettuce wrap with like some shredded carrot, if you like cilantro, since y'all like
Yummy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Mhm.
please.
Delicious.
But I think if you crumble that up in a few pieces with the tzatziki, with the cilantro, with a little squeeze of lime juice, and
Or
wrap it
some
up in like a
coleslaw
lettuce, yeah,
or something in there, like
anything, and
with some
just like
vinegar. Like
get that crunch in there, and I think that'd be really tasty. So
Mm-hmm.
I also think these would be good camping wise and hiking wise. This is like and lunch wise. I can't see not continuing to make these because my son really liked them. So
I ate them at the temperature they were when I opened it up. So they were not cold. They hadn't been in the fridge yet,
right.
but they were not like warmed up and they were amazing. So
Yeah.
I don't even think it matters what temperature you eat them at.
Yeah.
The one son liked them, and he had falafel in his fun lunch at school the other day, and he did not like those falafels at all.
Oh,
So, yeah.
it definitely was right up there among some of the best falafels that I can think of having eaten.
I think just deep frying them at home would obviously make them the best. But I mean, I'm not a big fan of working with a big pot of oil and deep frying things. And so I think this is a good way. And I'm surprised how crispy they turned out. Like they still had a pretty good crisp on the outside. So
Well, and they had the crisp when reheated as well. So when I reheated them in the oven, they kind of had that sizzle because there was enough oil left on the outside that they sizzled and they crisped right up again. So it was really nice.
Yum.
Yay, Erin.
Yay, falafels. I've been wanting to do those for so long. All right, so on the side, along with this, I made a crispy apple and kohlrabi salad. I learned that I was spelling kohlrabi wrong the whole time that I was typing out this recipe. And I was like, what do you mean you don't recognize this word? And then I was like, oh, it's because I'm typing it wrong. So this had about a pound of kohlrabi, 1 large apple. I used 1/3 cup of feta cheese, 1/4 cup of fresh tarragon leaves, which I did find at the store, which made me happy and sad because I have a huge tarragon plant that often goes to waste, and here I am buying tarragon in winter, but that's okay. 3 tablespoons of toasted sunflower seeds, a tablespoon of olive oil, lemon juice, and apple cider vinegar. And then I had some salted lemon juice from my jar of salted lemons that I also drizzled in there. But if you didn't have that, you could use salt and pepper. I had fun chopping these all up into little matchstick pieces. I don't know. I really enjoy doing that when I make this salad. I don't know why, but I get such a kick out of like dicing everything.
You're very
into
good
little
at
things.
it. Like it was very uniform.
It's easy to do that with an apple and to do that with this kohlrabi. So I had a lot of fun getting that all ready, and honestly, dump it all in a bowl, mix it together, and wham bam, thank you, ma'am, you've got yourself a salad. So
you've got a fantastic salad, in my opinion. That was delicious. The kids loved that too. I had to share it because they loved it. So we shared the falafel and the salad, and that was our little dinner, and they loved it. Yeah, I thought this was delicious. And Erin Patching also made a really delicious kohlrabi salad at a barbecue we attended in the summer at another friend's house. And that one had beets in it, but it was very similar. I'm curious what the differences might be between the two, because I really like both of them.
The one that I made had beets and apple and kohlrabi, so similar in that respect. And then it had like I juiced an orange, so it had an orange. And then other than that, the dressing was quite similar. So
yeah.
And then I think I put pumpkin seeds on instead of sunflower seeds, but yeah, very, very similar stuff, but with a slightly orangey taste instead of the
And the beets were purple, so the whole salad was purple, but that was
Very
okay.
purple.
Oh,
If you love
that's
beets,
fun.
as we do,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
crowd loves beets, so we know those are good.
Yeah. But yeah, the salad was, I really enjoyed your salad, Erin. And also I didn't eat it till the next day, because at drop off I'd already been making dinner.
You were in the
So
middle of dinner. That's usually
yeah.
that's the
But the really awesome thing about that salad is it's still crisp the next day.
yeah.
So, and I'm sure it'd be even the next day if you could go without eating it that long.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
eating
it doesn't last that long. No.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to, you could make a big batch and leave it in the
Mm.
fridge and eat it over a few days. And
Well, you
Yeah.
can make it ahead of time, and with the vinegar and the acid in there, your kohlrabi and apple don't spoil and get brown.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know how they can. And so like having that, because it's got that vinegary acidic dressing, it coats everything, and then you can make it ahead of time and
Mhm.
ta-da.
Yeah, so I kind of wish I had some now.
Well,
Yeah, I know, totally. I was just thinking that.
now
Yeah.
when I gift you your bunch of tarragon this summer, you can find something to do with it.
There you go.
I'll get tarragon from one garden, kohlrabi from the other garden.
That's great.
I don't have to
Well,
grow
then we
any of it.
You should
know.
all grow the kohlrabi this year.
I have grown
Yeah.
it before.
I would like to grow it again, or try growing it this year. I know I said I was going to do it last year, and I don't
Yeah.
know. I just can't get my shit together, I guess.
It can take some space because they get quite large, so you do need a bit of space for
Right.
Yeah.
it.
This is clearly not a good strategy for life, but I seem to be just getting by.
You're doing fine.
I think we're all, anyone with young families, yeah, we're all just getting by, aren't we?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think so.
And
Yeah.
it's flu season and winter. I mean, like,
This whole meal was really fresh and crispy, and I feel
Mhm.
like we've done a lot of heavy eating lately with, gravies and pies and cookies and
Thanksgiving and yeah.
oh, there's been so much comfort food and pastas, and all of that is great. But I feel like sometimes I need that break to freshen things up again, and this salad and the falafels on the side kind of did that for me.
Yeah. And I think if you were to, I don't think grating would work, but if you were to slice your apple and kohlrabi even thinner, like thin, super thin, so that it's a bit less matchstick and more like a slice, then put the whole salad into like a wrap with your falafel and just eat it all together.
Oh.
I just think it all tasted so good together that you could totally just wrap it up and there's your lunch.
Yes,
Boom.
that would be amazing.
Oh, I totally want it now.
I know.
Look what we've done to ourselves.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go throw some chickpeas in some water in the fridge, because I know they're gonna be okay if I don't do it tomorrow or the next day or the next.
There you go.
So that gives me 3 days to get this together, and then I can make more falafels.
How much chickpea? How many chickpeas did you have?
It was 1 cup of the dried.
Oh, so that's not very much, really.
No, it's not a ton, and it expands quite a bit, and it was perfectly 12 if I used my ice cream scoop for it. It
That's
worked
pretty
out
good.
exactly as that. And it says like you can double the recipe, you can half it, you can, as long as you keep your ratios the same, go for it. And you guys can put cilantro in. I didn't.
Oh, I totally would. I was like,
me
yeah,
too.
this needs cilantro because I love it. Or just on top even. Like if you're gonna wrap it up or whatever, throw some cilantro on there. And how much canned chickpeas would you need if you does your recipe tell you that or you?
It doesn't even give me that option.
Oh, okay. I was just curious what the difference would
Absolutely
be.
no on the canned chickpeas apparently.
That's
So-
okay. Soaking them's easy enough.
Yeah, probably cheaper than the canned. Usually the dry ends up cheaper.
Usually it is.
Yum. Thank you for making this, Erin, because
Yeah, thank you.
it's
I've been
super
wanting to
delicious.
make this for quite a while, and I love that this worked out really good to make for you, Erin, with having gluten-free. And then when I was making it and I realized it was also egg-free, I was like, this is fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you.
Mm.
I hope you enjoyed getting food delivery and coming on and
Yes. Come back
having some fun
anytime.
with us.
Yeah, I'll come by if I get with free food. Yeah, or maybe I'll make you something sometime as well.
Sure.
Ooh,
Yeah.
we're always up for that.
You've now earned the right to like lead the episode and cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what my special. Oh, I know what my specialty is, but I don't know if is a cheese souffle. You ever done that?
I've actually never made a souffle.
I've never made a souffle either.
Well, there you go. I'll have to teach you all about souffle.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Let's schedule that in. I love that idea.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic.
And now for the fine print. Join us over on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest, and on our website at threekitchenspodcast.com. And remember, when you like, follow, subscribe, and review, it helps more people find us. Thank you so much for listening.
Know your other Erin.
That's right.